couldn't help but realize how male and how white the department was. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today's video, we're going to be talking about something that has been heavily discussed, heavily debated, heavily protested, and that's qualified immunity. What is qualified immunity? What are the pros and cons of qualified immunity? What do I, as a current police officer, think about qualified immunity? And that's what today's video is going to be about. What is qualified immunity? It's a type of legal immunity that protects government officials and law enforcement officials from civil lawsuits. It's not a law and it's not written in the Constitution. So qualified immunity applies to most executive government officials, not just police officers, but most of the cases that you hear, or most of the talk that you hear currently, revolves around making sure that police officers don't have qualified immunity. There is a two-pronged test for qualified immunity. I keep saying qualified immunity like it doesn't feel like a real word. So if you answer yes to both these questions, then the public official or the law enforcement official doesn't qualify for immunity. So the first one is, did the officer violate a constitutional right? And then the second one is, did the officer know that their actions violated a clearly established right? Under the current doctrine, a right is clearly established when SCOTUS, or the Supreme Court of the United States, or any federal appeals court has already treated the conduct as unconstitutional, or where a public official's conduct is obviously unlawful. So we're going to talk about a couple of cases that are very prominent and prevalent when it comes to qualified immunity. So the first one is Pearson V Callahan. According to SCOTUS case Pearson V Callahan, qualified immunity balances two important interests: the need to hold public officials accountable when they exercise power irresponsibly, and the need to shield officials from harassment, distraction, and liability when they perform their duties reasonably. So in 1981, SCOTUS expanded qualified immunity to what we know of it as today. So a mere 15 years later after Pearson v. Callahan. What does Harlow v. Fitzgerald say or hold? So the case held that public officials have immunity unless the official knew or should have known their actions violated the plaintiff's constitutional rights. So this case replaced the previous good faith test with something more objective. So that's a little background on qualified immunity, what it is, the Supreme Court cases that have shaped qualified immunity to what it is currently. Still talking with my hands. So as far as pros and cons go, so there's one major pro and then one major con to qualified immunity. A lot of government officials and law enforcement officers obviously are for the pro side, and a lot of people who think that police officers shouldn't have immunity, qualified immunity, are on the con side. Officers and public officials need qualified immunity to carry out their jobs. Speaking from experience, police officers, like myself, are often placed in very stressful situations, and sometimes those situations need you to make a split-second decision. So taking away qualified immunity could lead officers to hesitate when action is needed the most. What is the con to qualified immunity? This is what most protesters and people against qualified immunity for police officers usually like to say. They say that liability is necessary for police officers to not use excessive force. The current doctrine, as it's applied today in court, could lead to hair splitting, and it is often impossible for the plaintiffs to meet that burden. So that's the major pro, and that's also the major cons. That's just what it is. Who's right, who's wrong? Depends on who you ask. Recently, a bill was introduced in the House in the state that I currently live and work in, where the House representatives wanted, or House delegates wanted, to end qualified immunity for police officers. It failed the first time, it passed the second time at the House level, went to the Senate, and thankfully it didn't pass. That's not to say that the bill won't come back in the next session, because I'm pretty sure this is going to be a topic of conversation for months to come. What does that mean for me as a police officer working in a state that's trying to end qualified immunity? I do my job and I do it well. I have yet to experience a situation in which a split-second decision needs to be made where I have to use force. With that said, I hope that I never have to use my duty weapon on duty. I hope that I never have to take a life, but I know I signed up for this job knowing that at the end of the day, I could be placed in a situation where that is expected and needed of me, because at the end of the day, I'm coming home to my family. So my family and I had been having discussions about this job, and when my time will come to leave this job. It's a dangerous job. It's not for the faint of heart. To anyone who complains about police officers or complains about the need to change, why don't you apply? Why don't you be the change that you wish to see is my question to you. What's stopping you from applying, going through the academy, going out on the street, and truly ingratiating yourself in the community? When I first talked about joining the department that I wanted to join, I couldn't help but realize how male and how white the department was. I know why I joined the police department that I'm in. I wanted to see more representation. I'm a Middle Eastern female. I'm a minority and a female. There's not a lot of minority females in the department. There's not a lot of females in the department when you compare it to males. And I wanted to slowly change that. And me being in this department, that's a step forward. To the people complaining how cops are all white, then join and change that. Is as simplistic as that sounds, if you don't see yourself represented in whatever it is, it's your duty as an individual to be that person to take the step forward. So that's my video. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and even if you didn't, please still give it a thumbs up. But I have a feeling it's going to get a lot of thumbs down because of the topic at hand, and qualified immunity is a very, very sensitive topic right now, and I understand that. What are your thoughts on qualified immunity? Also, what are your thoughts on the current state of the anti-police rhetoric that's so apparent currently? And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, like I said, subscribe for more videos like this, and some fun ones too. I promise. So yeah, see you guys in my next video. Bye.